Hey, party people. Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I am joined by my good friend Ramon Bender for a game of Ironsworn. Ironsworn is an RPG of perilous quests for solo, co-op, or guided play. Players take on the role of Ironsworn, heroes bound to a sacred, almost supernatural code, oath, vow, that carries them through perilous quests and legendary adventure throughout a dark, dangerous, and grim fantasy setting. The rules are kind of an interesting combination of things like fate and systems like the Powered by the Apocalypse system. It plays off of both in really cool ways, and it has rules for playing solo by yourself with a series of tables and oracles to guide you, playing co-op, which is to say sort of a GM-less experience, perfect for sort of multi-group play where no one takes a firm GM role, and sort of guided play, which is the traditional GM PC arrangement. Ramon and I today are playing under the guided model with me running as a GM and Ramon as a player. But it's a really cool, interesting take on a fantasy RPG. I think you'll really dig it. I think the episode we had was a lot of fun, and I think the game is really cool. You can find more information at ironswornrpg.com. You can also find that link in the show notes. Ramon is a stand-up comedian who regularly performs at High Note Humor, which is a weekly open mic in the South Jersey, Philadelphia area. You can find more information about that at facebook.com/highnotehumor. I'm trying to think if I have any announcements or anything, and I don't think I do. So let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. This week, I'm sitting down with my good friend, Ramon Bender. Ramon, thanks so much for coming on Party of One.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeff.
So real quick, at the top of the show, why don't you take a moment and let the audience know about any projects you've got going on you might want them to know about.
So we just had our 6-year anniversary at High Note Humor, which is a South Jersey comedy group. We do an open mic every week at the Tap Room in Haddonfield. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Come on down, try some jokes, watch some jokes, have a good time, drink specials, food specials. It's a lot of fun every week.
It's fun. I've been there a few times. I enjoy it a lot. It's a good group of people. Friend of the show, Noah Houlihan, is a regular there. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. Big supporter of it.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. It's always a good time.
Yeah. So this week, we are playing Ironsworn. It is a small group dark fantasy role-playing game. It's interesting in that it is designed to be played between 1 and 4 people, which sometimes includes a game master, so it has sort of solo play mode, sort of a guided co-op experience, as well as a traditional GM PC thing, which is what we'll be doing today. The premise is it is sort of a dark world. We have been forced out of our home and have settled in this sort of desolate, largely abandoned wasteland space.
Yeah, sort of a grim, almost a path of exile. You've been ousted from civilization.
Yeah, and we're sort of making our living here among the wastes. And so why don't you talk to us about, your character, introduce us to your character, as well as something of note about Ironsworn is Ironsworn are warriors who are bound to a specific vow, something that is so powerful to them that it empowers them and it gives them a special abilities and a special drive towards a greater cause. So introduce us to your character and talk about the thing that has pushed you into being not just a warrior but an Ironsworn.
So the character I will be playing is Balt the Wolf. I'm a big fan of one-word descriptors of people that they do in Game of Thrones and that sort of thing. So Balt the Wolf comes from a village where men and wolves live together, not in harmony as such, but they work together. It's sort of the beginning of a domestication sort of thing. And this tribe worships wolves, and their great idol, their important figurehead for their religious beliefs has been stolen. Yeah. I don't know who stole it, but I'm on the path to recover this. My iron vow is to recover this or die trying.
Right. This is the I'm trying to think of an artifact that would embody that sort of bond between human and animal.
I imagined that it was sort of a very large wolf skull on top.
I was picturing something
very Conan.
the staff of the
staff of the necromancer that has the imp skull on top. Or
I love so I think what it's called is the immortal scepter of the Peaceful Union.
What is that? Skeletor's scepter?
Is that Skeletor?
I don't know, but it sounds like it.
It sounds very Skeletor-esque, but it is this thing that when held when held, it sort of grants you that sort of very, very, regal sort of presence that, animals just sort of bow their head and, allows you to sort of forge that sort of peaceful thing. It has that sort of...
Yeah, it gives you an aura of competency and peace.
Yes, exactly. That's kind of what I'm picturing. It has been taken. And so, it has been taken, and therefore,
the wolves are more feral now.
Yeah.
It's more difficult. They're attacking instead of...
Yeah. And so these packs that you have formed, this working relationship is sort of in shambles.
Yes, it's definitely being threatened.
And so you are actually fairly late, fairly deep into your vow at this point, because you have at least, if not the person who holds the scepter, at least the person who took the scepter.
Yes.
I think is what we'll say. I don't think you're going to recover the scepter and end your story here.
Well, we'll see. I could be pretty great.
You could be pretty great, but I think what you have found is, because your immediate situation is that you are going to investigate the wreck of the perilous bounty. What you have discovered, and we are going to open a ways away from this ship, but we open just before you embark on a mission to find the wreck of the perilous bounty and determine what happened to it, and maybe get a clue about where to go to find the scepter itself. Because the perilous bounty was a pirate ship. It was, they were plunderers and stealers of things, and you found this out. You found out that it was the ship that came and, raided your village, took the scepter, and left. It was this massive pirate ship, armored soldiers, took it and, left with it. And so you've been hunting this, and you've just found this information out. You know where it is. And that is where that is the story that we're going to untold. You don't know if it's still going to be there.
Yeah. Don't know, but this is the best lead I've got.
Yeah, it's you at least know that it's the people responsible for taking it, and from there you can at least find, where it may have ended up. Okay, so, what happens is we open in the, we'll call it the nesting lair of the mother spider. The mother spider is a spider person.
So an anthropomorphic spider.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of flowing silks, picture a lot of scarves and tapestries.
They just churn those things out, right?
Yeah. It's what they make. And you have just done a favor for the spider mother in exchange for information about the location of the shipwreck. Yeah,
okay.
Of the ship itself.
Okay.
I think at this point, I think when you found this information,
you didn't know it was a wreck.
Yeah. You're about to find out that it is wrecked on a shore somewhere.
Okay.
So what was the mission? What was the job you undertook?
Well, I imagine I was getting them dyes from a very dangerous area to help to give them more that they could do with their silk tapestries and scarves and such.
Bartering is a big thing. So I think they needed someone capable of fighting through a living sort of fungal pit. So you had to kill some mushroom monsters, some myconids.
Okay, yeah. Classic myconids.
Yep, and pulled from there berries that can be turned into dye that can tell their story in a very beautiful way.
Yeah, in a vibrant fashion.
Yeah,
sure.
So you've accomplished this, and the spider mother, surrounded by her young, is informing you oh yes, of course, the perilous bounty.
Yeah, and I would like to make clear that I am not at all freaked out or scared of these many spider people. Just normal, run-of-the-mill spider people.
Yep. And she, chitters her fingers together and is of course, the perilous bounty. They came on their war route and tried to take some of our silk. We fought them back as best we could. Somewhere, we survived, and I think it is clear that this is an underground lair, right?
Cavernous. You wouldn't expect spiders to live in
exactly.
Anywhere else.
So when she says they fought them off, I think it's clear to you as a soldier, as a fighter, that a lot of that was just hiding in the shadows and being they won't find us.
Yeah.
But she's of course, if you seek this object of power, I suspect we the ship should not be far from here. Certainly not after the storms. And she goes quiet for a moment. Many ships were ransacked in the storms from the rainy season. It would be unlikely that a ship as sort of battle damaged as the Perilous Bounty would have made it, especially considering that, they would have had to pass through Bad Rock, like the Bad Rock Rapids.
Okay.
If you seek your... And she's, like, weaving silk as she starts weaving silk, and it's, like, forming into a map. Like, she's weaving you a map of like, spider silk. And
that's pretty cool.
And she's like, I can see with my many eyes that, like, if you seek this ship, you more accurately seek the ship graveyard in the Bad Rock Rapids. Go there, you will find the answers you are looking for. We thank you for this, and if you need anything, the spiders will help. Like, the spiders will be there to answer the call.
And I will kneel, and I will place my spear, front, unthreateningly in my hands, and I say,
and I think she, like, weaves a scarf around, like, the very edge of it. Yeah. So you got a little tiny, like, decorative scarf, and it's dyed in some of the dyes that you've brought. It's this very nice moment, like, after the thing.
Yeah, it's a nice quest completion.
Yeah, and now we're done. Yeah. All right.
Well, I've fulfilled some vows.
So yeah, but she showed it to you, and it is probably about somewhere between a week and 2 weeks by foot along these sort of, like, rocky passes. It's not far, but it's like a difficult trek.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have you make some travel moves. I'm gonna have you undertake a journey to sort of get there. How are you traveling along this? Like, what is your traveling from place to place look like?
Well, so traveling from place to place, I have as one of my what do we call assets?
Mm-hmm.
One of my assets is a hound, so I imagine that it's largely the hound keeping sort of ahead, scouting out for danger as I follow along. Probably not using roads so much, or staying to the side of roads,
right.
Using them as a way marker as opposed to an actual path to travel. Because again, it's sort of meant to be a wild man sort of thing, living off the land and that such.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So largely by foot, though.
Right, it's by foot. Is it by day, by night? Like, how? Like, are you looking to avoid being seen? Are you encountering people along the way?
Are wolves nocturnal? That would be a really cool way to answer this.
Guess we'll look that up now.
Oh well, it's sorry.
No, that's fine. I didn't even. They are primarily nocturnal animals.
Then we're traveling by night, baby. What's up?
That's very cool. Good. That works out very nicely because that's cool and exciting, and I can throw some horrible monsters at you.
Some real terrors come out at night. I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. So I'm going to make this a dangerous journey. So you're going to on your progress track. On your progress track, you are going to, or rather, we're going to make a progress track.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say there is not one on this sheet.
Yes. So we have 10 markers. And for every success, 2, 3, 9. For every success that you make, you're going to get 2 points, 2 boxes filled in. So you're going to want to first get 5 successes, or 5 you're going to find 5 waypoints along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you to roll plus wits. So what you're going to do is you are going to roll, we have 2 10-sided dice in front of us. You're going to roll both of those 10-sided dice. These are your challenge dice. They will give you a number from 1 to 10. Then you are going to roll a d6 and add your wit stat, which is plus 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that number, you'll compare the number, your d6 plus your wits, to both of the numbers rolled individually from 1 to 10.
Right, so you can get like a double success, like a very good success, or a medium success,
or a miss.
Complete failure.
Yeah. So give me that roll and we'll see what happens.
Okay, let's see. Which, by the way, I do think this is a fairly cool system. So we have a 1 and a 5.
You have a 1 and a 5. So a solid chance to do it. And perfect.
And I double succeed.
On a strong hit, you reach a waypoint. If the waypoint is unknown, we can envision it or ask an oracle. I'm going to roll on a table, because I think rolling on tables is fun. It's fun and exciting and interesting.
And they give you all these tables to use. You might as well.
There's so many interesting tables in this book that, like, I feel like we're going to roll in the coastal waters location table. So it's going to be 1 from 1 to 100. That's a 34. This is a fjord. A fjord. which is a good time for me, despite having, encountered fjords, to look up exactly, remind myself, a narrow, deep inlet of the sea between high cliffs.
Oh, I thought it was a kind of car manufacturer.
A little bit. It's both. It can be multiple things. Okay, so now we're gonna roll. I'm also gonna roll a descriptor of this fjord. Also from 1 to 100. That's 2. These are very, so you've come across, like, very high cliffs. Like, very tall cliffs, and, like, the waters are underneath are, like, flowing. They're starting to speed up as you sort of get closer to these, like, rapids.
Mm-hmm.
Are you traveling along, like, the tops of the cliffs? Are you traveling along along the water? Like, where are you?
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and roll a die for that. Because I obviously, ideally, I would want to be on top of the cliffs, I think, but we'll see. So on a low, I will be in the water. And I am on top of the cliffs.
Alright, so you're walking along cliffs, like, you're along this cliffside, you see the water, and you see it start to bubble up. You're seeing it start to speed up. You're noting that the rapids have to be, like, kind of close by.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you for another wits roll to make further progress. You also can, if you would like to. So let me ask you. Oh, this is a question for you. Are you making good use of your resources, which is to say, marking progress, or are you valuing speed and therefore gaining additional momentum? But draining your supply.
I think I am being cautious because, this journey has been long and arduous already. And even though I managed to resupply with, the spiders.
Yes.
I don't want to risk it because earlier in the journey, I'm sure I had some troubles.
Yeah, for sure. What kind of troubles did you run into earlier? Tell me a horrible thing that has caused you to be cautious right now.
Well, I was assaulted by what were the Varu, the wolf?
The wolf people, yeah.
Who at first mistook me for a member of an opposing pack until I managed to use my own know-how of how wolves function to sort of bond with them and help them out of their own difficulties.
Right.
But at first, boy, they did not care for me.
Mm-hmm. I dig that. So, yeah, okay, make me another witch roll.
Okay.
It's further, you're walking along, you're seeing the water start to build up. Those are both 10s, so that's gonna be a miss.
That's a 100% miss. I can't make it.
Well, what you can do... Oh, wait, no.
I could blow my momentum, right?
I believe so. Let me double check.
But I don't think that would actually
I don't think it would actually help you here. So, okay. Then, what has happened is now you are going to pay the price.
Boy, am I.
Which we'll find out. Remind me exactly what I do when I'm making you pay the price.
Yeah.
I think it's just throw a horrible thing at you, but I'm going to confirm it.
That is, I like how, like, no matter what the result is, this game sort of has an idea set up for what's going to happen because you screwed up.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to roll on this. I'm also going to roll. There's a table of terrible things that's going to roll.
Is there a fjord-specific table of terrible things?
There is not. This is... Okay, yep, I rolled harmful, which is good. So I'm going to have you mark harm, and then I'm going to say that you literally, like, there is a rock slide, because like I said, these are bad rock rapids, right? Like, you're getting close, and part of the cliff just crumbles, and you are sent tumbling into the water below.
Oh, no!
So that is what I'm going to say. So that you are going to endure some harm, is what's about to happen to you. Endure harm. When you face physical damage, suffer minus health equal to your foe's rank. We will call this, -1. We'll call this -1, so now you're going to roll plus health or iron, whichever is higher. And then we'll see what happens on the result that you get. So make me a challenge roll and roll plus health.
Plus health, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know you could roll plus health. I thought it was just,
That's why it's listed as +4 on your sheet. So when you're rolling, when some things cause that, like, it specifically, it indicates that you're adding that skill, and therefore it might, like, help you along.
That's pretty cool.
So that is an 8.
Yep.
That is an 8. That's a weak hit.
Yep.
You press on. Yeah, you are thrown into the waters below. Give me another witch. So, like, now you're, like, I think you're dragged along in the rapids for a while, right? Like, you're
like, tumbling, unaware, like, unable to really do anything to fix the predicament until...
Your wolf is sort of running behind you. You are kind of scrambling to, like, you're scrambling
trying to catch something, use the spear to get between rocks, looking for tree limbs.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always a tree limb hanging out over the rapids, right?
Yep, there's something. You gotta find something.
What do you want? An iron check?
For now, yeah. Why don't you for now actually give me a face danger roll to get out of this sort of tricky situation,
This predicament. Sure.
Yeah.
What does that use?
You're going to tell me how you're getting out of this situation. It'll determine like the skill that you use. Are you using speed, agility, charm, aggressive action, deception?
I'm gonna charm my way out of the rapids.
Talk your way out of it. Deception or expertise, or stealth or trickery or expertise or observation.
That sort of. I am going to try to grab onto a rock, find a place hold somewhere where I can.
Roll me plus iron. That sounds exactly like plus iron.
Okay. 2 and an 8.
You got a 2 and an 8.
Well, it's a weak hit.
That's a weak hit. You succeed, but face a troublesome cost. Choose one. Are you delayed, lose advantage, or face a new danger? Are you tired or hurt? Are you dispirited or afraid? Or do you sacrifice resources?
I think that I will sacrifice resources.
Okay. Yeah. I think that some of the gear that you've brought has been damaged.
Damaged or swept away.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I love it. So go ahead. Yeah. So mark that down by mark your supply down by 1, and give me another undertake journey roll. Oh, add +1 to this roll because I forgot to give you a +1 earlier. Because you're supposed to on your first roll get a +1 because you were leaving from a community with which you share a bond.
Oh. See, that's neat. The bonds in the,
I like
so
that.
many cool little touches in this game.
There's little touches of the game that, like, change the way rolls work that I'm a big fan of it.
All right, another journey roll. That's a 5 and an 8. What am I?
So you're rolling wits plus
Wits,
1, so
okay.
this is +2. That's a weak hit.
Whew, barely.
Mark 1 supply, but you reach a waypoint and get to mark progress. So that's 2 waypoints. This one is, I think you land in like a small lake, right? I think it's like a lake or waterfall oasis type situation.
So I'm shunted. The river eventually shunts me into.
Yeah, you tiny waterfall. You come tumbling over. The wolf jumps into the water. And it just has a lot of fun. And tell me what makes this like lake, this tiny waterfall oasis, different or weird or magical, etc.
Well, there's a rainbow.
There's a rainbow. Sure.
There's a rainbow, which is just
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but it's just like man. After all that, now I get the rainbow.
Also, it's real late at night, so like the fact that you can see a rainbow real clearly is a little weird.
Well, then there must be lights coming from somewhere.
Or maybe not. Or yeah, I think there are lights coming from somewhere though. Yeah, I think maybe it's like the rocks themselves are kind of like
glowing with some sort
pulsing and then like a rainbow is bouncing off of that. And so you are surrounded by this sort of like crystalline waterfall oasis. Are you going to like try and like hang loose and recover, or are you going to keep pushing onward?
Yeah, I'm going to chill out for a minute.
Okay.
I'm going to chill out, enjoy the water, sort of make sure there's no threats around. Maybe there's some game to be had. After all, I'm a hunter.
Cool. That sounds like you're making camp.
Yes, so I suppose I am doing that.
I'm going to ask you to roll plus supply.
Is that just the same as...
same challenge roll, but plus supply. I'm asking you for a lot of rolls because it's fun.
Oh boy, I am. That's a 9.
Those are both 9s. Oh wait, on matches, exciting things happen.
Ooh, did something exciting happen?
Something exciting has happened.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle too much more excitement.
Yep. A thing is coming out. I think. Oh yeah, I think like so there's this rainbow, right? And you're like seeing the crystals form this rainbow. And slowly, like, the rainbow starts to, like, water kind of swirls around it. Mm-hmm. And, like, energy is, like, pulsing. And you are confronted, like, slowly, like, the rainbow and the waterfall itself starts to, like, rise up to meet you.
Ooh.
And you are confronted by, like, the primordial spirit of this, this oasis and this, like, region. And of these rapids and of this water. And it's probably about twice your size. It's just, like, hovering over you and, like, crashing into rocks and then reforming. What are you doing as this thing is sort of, like, settling in front of you?
Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is take whatever water I refilled my canteens with and pour it right back in the lake. Mm-hmm. And then I think I will, does it give any awareness that I exist? Does it...
I think when
look at me with its not eyes?
When you pour the water in, I think it does. I think it does when you put that water in, when you pour the water back in. I think I'm going to ask I might ask you for either face danger. Let me look at forge a bond. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you for face danger for now.
Okay.
And I'm going to say I'm gonna call that wits. So this will be a wits roll.
Okay.
And if you succeed, I will let you forge a bond as it has this moment. And if you fail, it's going to
eat me. It's gonna get eaten by water. Fantastic.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. This is doable. But it's not done. It's a weak hit.
Well, you could. Oh yeah, it is a weak hit.
Could I burn supply?
It would get you a weak hit no matter what. So you've got your weak. Oh yeah, you could burn supply. I think so. Let me remind myself how burning supply works.
Or burning momentum rather, not supply. I'm sorry.
Let me remind myself of how burning momentum works. I think you might be able to. Burning momentum. One of the challenge dice is less. No, they're not. It's not less than your momentum value. Mm-mm. If it was a 1, you could. As right now, you can't. But you still get a weak hit. Okay. And so I think what has happened is you can briefly interact with it. Like it's not attacking you, and it's basically kind of just fill your supply. Like you can make a request of it, and it will make a request of you.
Oh, spirit of the lake. And I'm supplicating myself.
Yeah, right.
I'm down on my knees. And presumably my wolf is doing the same.
And I think it literally, I think the water, because I think all the water in this oasis has formed into it.
Sort of a water elemental.
Yeah. And I think some of it kind of when you kind of bow down and supplicate, some of it kind of runs along your ankles and splashes you in the face a little bit to kind of almost tell you in the water's way, don't bother.
No. This means nothing to me.
Yeah, your supplication is not needed here. Merely, this is a meeting between people, nothing more.
I had a rough trip down the rapids. I was hoping to camp here for the night and slake my thirst, and then be on my way.
And I think I think what you see is, I think the water kind of settles largely, and then, what it says is, I'm trying to think what the request it's going to make of you is. I think it shows you yep, I know exactly what it is. You see a water bloated corpse, and it's got a barrel next to it, right? It's got, it was a person with a barrel and with buckets, and the buckets are smashed, the barrel is half broken, and the body is waterlogged and choked. And it is basically telling you if you share the location of this oasis with anyone and try to come back and disrupt it in any way, you can stay here as a guest, but if you were to come back in any other way, you will not survive here.
Fair enough. Would you like me to remove that corpse?
And the water literally stops moving in midair, and there's occasional drops, and then just it kind of flows some water in that direction as it to be yes,
yeah,
that sounds great.
I'm gonna go help. I'm gonna go remove the fetid corpse.
And sure enough, after you do that, you spend the night doing that. I'm gonna let you make a bond move here. We'll make a bond move here in a moment, but for now, I'm going to say when you go to drink water later, it is spectacularally soothing.
Ah, man, this water's great. It's the best water.
And actually, I'm going to let you get 1 health back. I'm going to give you a health for that.
Fantastic.
And let's give you a health and a momentum. This has gone well.
Ooh.
So, I'm going to ask you to forge a bond. You're going to roll plus heart.
Okay. That's a 10 and a 2. Well, that's, oh, no, that's a hard fail.
You can now burn momentum and bump your momentum back down to 2 to get a weak hit on that.
Yep, I'll take it. I will take that.
Okay, then I think, oddly enough, I'm reading over the Forge a Bond move, and on a weak hit, they ask something more of you first. So yeah, I think as you depart, the river, basically, the primordial of this, oasis, has instructed you, you talk for a while, right? Do you talk about like where you're going and share as it like
I talk about the journey that I've been on.
So you probably briefly, I think maybe you briefly mention at some point like this ship that you're heading towards, and it's basically like, you've removed this corpse that has been like infecting this water. Do the same for the corpses of this shipwreck, and you will always have like a place in the river. Like you will always have a
place in my lake.
Yeah, you will always have an oasis that you can come to and rest, like when the time comes. Do you accept? Do you accept? Do you do it? Swear an iron vow? Or do you do it? Or do you decline?
I will make an iron vow to remove the corpses.
Okay.
At the wreck of the perilous bounty.
Okay, that's a move that's gonna happen. I'm excited. I like the moves here. Here's the thing. I know that I'm not supposed to be making you make like a ton of moves, but like the moves here are interesting and they keep like triggering.
They lead to more.
Yeah,
like the story sort of progresses. In natural ways.
Generally, like the game, the game suggests like not having you constantly roll, but I feel like we're getting like it's making a lot of really interesting things. So I'm gonna have you roll the swear and iron. We're gonna do the swear and iron vow rule here.
And for a game that is like, hey, maybe don't roll so much, they have rolls for everything.
They do, and it's like they do, and they're nicely written in a way that's not like it's not the boring stuff that you're rolling.
It's the situation is what it is.
Okay. Roll write down your vow and give it a quest or rank. The ranks are troublesome, dangerous, they're on your character sheet, troublesome, dangerous, fearsome, epic, and extreme. Yeah, I think this probably isn't more than, like, troublesome.
Yeah, this is probably troublesome. I mean, this is really, like, it's part of a larger quest I'm already on, so...
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, now you're going to roll plus heart, and, because you've marked this bond, you will add +1 to that.
Clear the shipwreck corpses. That's what... Okay, so with heart... Oh boy. Nope. No dice.
3, 4. Yep, that is not a success. That is a miss. You face a significant... Perfect. Oh, good. I'm so happy.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm so happy. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to make a note. Everyone, Ramon listeners, note. There's going to be a significant obstacle that's going to come up. That's going to stand in your way.
Okay. I don't know that now, though. I am I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. Continue. Give me your next. Give me your next journey roll.
Okay.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, 1 and a 5. Oh, I might.
And now you're going to add your wits to that, which is going to
be a weak hit.
Yeah, you're going to get a weak hit. Do you so burn some supplies?
Okay. Boy, I'm glad I saved my supplies earlier because they've been burning down quick.
It's been a rough journey. It's a rough journey. It's a long trip. Okay, so your next waypoint is okay, now I'm going to reveal to you this dramatic obstacle. You are confronted with, I think, like you find yourself among a smaller shipwreck. You find yourself among one of these smaller shipwreck. You find yourself amongst like a small shipwreck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is your ankle is grabbed. Like a waterlogged hand like grabs your ankle and like blood and pus and water like as it squeezes like
squeeze out of it
and it's like grabbing you and starting to pull at you, and you see that the body that has been in this river, in this lake, like as the water has flooded into it like the person drowned and they have been rendered into a sodden. A sodden is the restless spirit of someone who is drowned or put to rest in water. Particularly like this river has like as people have drowned in it, particularly like the sort of pirates and smugglers that have been using these rapids, their spirits have been restless and rendered into these like.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Yep. So what is your plan here?
Oh, my plan is to take my spear butt and just sort of try to get it off. Get it off me first of all.
Fabulous. When you face danger by holding a foe at bay with your spear's reach, you can roll iron or edge, your choice, as you wield a spear.
Yes, as I am a skirmisher.
Yes.
Well, I will use iron because it's a larger stat, and I'm trying to pry this sucker off me.
Yep.
Ooh. Well, that's a weak hit.
It's a weak hit. Okay. So, yeah, you, let me present you with your choices. This is a weak hit. You're facing danger. This is a very good... Another thing I like about this game that's actually making it way easier because there is a lot of, like, mechanics in it.
Yeah.
Is the index is very well done. And I appreciate that. Because it's making it very easy to, like, flip to the different moves and the different things.
And the different results.
Yeah. So, on a weak hit, you succeed, but face a troublesome cost. Are you tired or hurt? Are you dispirited and afraid? Do you sacrifice more resources? Or do you suffer, or do you lose momentum?
I'm trying to think about what it would be. Because I want to say that, like, yeah, I got it off me, but now I'm still stuck in the mud. Like, my other foot has sunk into the mud.
That sounds like momentum.
Momentum to me.
That sounds like momentum, because now I think that the next part of this journey, before we ask you to make your next journey roll, is you are basically waylaid by, like, the living dead, right? Like, this is a thing that is happening a lot. You're in the mud, like, you and your hound are, like, battling through this. Mm-hmm. It's a rough situation.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot more undead than just the one.
Yeah, like, and
Sodded.
so you are...
Sodded, that's such a cool name.
It's so cool. It's so neat. I like it so much. Yeah. So you are fleeing, you are fleeing, and you are laying low, and you are avoiding these sorts of living dead.
Yeah, kind of just trying to get out.
Yeah. Yeah, so you are avoiding these sorts of living dead creatures as you continue on your journey. And now I'm going to ask you for your next journey roll.
Okay.
As we find our way to our next waypoint.
I do like this waypoint system also. That's
a miss.
Oh, that's a miss. That's a hard miss.
That's a miss, which is actually why I'm going to say that now you are so this is we'll set this as the next. Yeah. So I think we're going to skip ahead. I think we're going to skip ahead on the journey and get you to the actual thing, because I think that's really what's exciting and where I want to be at this moment.
Yes, and because I might not make it there if we keep going in this way.
So, the perilous bounty... Well, and because I think it ties into, like, how I want you to pay the price. I think, like, the wreck... I think what you find is that the perilous bounty is so much larger than, like, you could have anticipated, which both means that, like, there's more living dead things in there. Mm-hmm. They're probably much better armed than you were anticipating. And it's going to just mean that there's more, like, corpses to clear out if you were committed.
If I was going to try to do that. Which I am. I have a vow. I got to.
You've promised this lake spirit.
Promised my new friend.
You promised your friend that you were going to take care of this.
You know what? Missed opportunity. We didn't give it a name.
The name is Oasis.
See? Missed opportunity. Great name.
Good name. You promised Oasis that you would do this. Like, so it is important to you. Vows in Ironsworn have a power and a value that is, essential.
Yeah, it's not like in Dungeons and Dragons where you're like, we'll totally do that.
Yeah,
and then
we'll
you just
get
do
to
whatever
it.
you feel
and then
like.
You wander off.
Yeah.
So that's your situation, right? Like you have paid this price because you have stuff like you see that this is going to be a harder fight than you were prepared for.
Yeah, than I was prepared for
what is your next step? What is your approach as you figure this out? What is your game plan?
Here is my game plan. I am going to attempt to call upon the spiders. I am going to try to find a nest of spiders somewhere that I can ask to do some sort of reconnaissance for me. Is my idol in there? What's in that ship? I can't risk going in myself.
Sure.
But you, with your many eyes, may be able to tell me if what I'm looking for is there.
Okay, yeah. Let me find... this is going to be a compel roll. Are you trying to charm, pacify, barter, or convince? Are you trying to threaten or incite, or lie or swindle?
Oh, I think convince. Because we're already buddies.
So roll a plus heart and add +1. So you're going to take a +2 to this.
Okay.
Oh, so something's happened.
Made it. That's a strong hit.
You made it. That's a strong hit. They'll do what you want and share what they know. Take +1 momentum. If you use this exchange to gather information, make that move and add +1. Which also, also take +1 momentum, because I forgot that because you are a slayer, and this is involving the living dead. This is involving your enemies. Mm-hmm. When you gather information by tracking a beast or horror, or when you secure an advantage by readying yourself for a fight against them, take +1 and gain momentum.
Very cool.
So, so what they tell you is, like, unfortunately, like, the scepter is not in here. However, there are, like, water-bound or leather-bound, like, waterproofed books, charters, maps, ledgers, you know, cataloging the barters and the trades and, like, the conquests. These were egotistical pirates, to say the least. They were writing down their, like, the things they stole and bragging about them and who they traded them off to
and how much they got for it.
Yeah, their luxuries. There's records of them. So, like, if you go through them, you can find, so this may not be the end of your journey, but at least you will find the next step of your quest, like, in there, if you can get to those books.
Mm-hmm.
And you are finding out all of this as literally, like, I think a spider person, like, comes from, like a bush and, like, from the shadows and, like,
hey, Bolt!
But also, like, there's just, you look around and there's just spiders crawling on, like there's spiders crawling on vines and plants, and there's, like, we've come with information.
Yes. Which is, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yep. So would you like to, gather information from this information? Get further information about what you're looking for and, like, what you're up against?
Yeah, now I want to know what's in there.
Okay.
What do I have to contend with?
This is gonna be, alright, let me, remember what, if you are using this information, you may add +1 to this roll, because you got a strong hit on, forging a bond. So you're forging this bond, you've taken +1 to that. Now you're gathering information. You may also take +1 because you're tracking, like, this directly involves your slaying, involves your presence as a slayer.
Because they are horrors.
So that's going to be +2. So now you're going to roll wits +2, so +3, to figure out what you're up to.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got. Well, that's
a weak
hit.
The information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger. Envision what you discover and take +1 momentum. So you've got a momentum.
Okay.
But, so what you have found is, like, you are, you know...
Yeah, at this point, I'm expecting just more sodden.
Right.
Loaded.
And what you catch, like, you're investigating, I think, like, what happens is, like, you see a sodden, and, like, it is armed, it has, like, a rusted sword and, like, beat-up armor, but it also, like, is standing at attention, like, looking at a guard. Like, someone is ordering these things around.
Yeah, it's not just mindless zombie shuffling.
Yeah. This is a sodden that has a
task.
Yeah, this is a hierarchy, which means that they are answering to
someone or something.
Exactly. Like, someone has taken command of this. So if you are going to, like, get those ledgers, get that information, find whatever other treasures have been stolen and held on this ship, it's going to mean getting through whoever has commanded these sodden, even more so than dealing with the sodden themselves.
Okay. Well, I suppose I should thank the spiders, first of all. Thank you very much for,
I think they're already
our continued
gone.
friendship.
I think
I'll just say it.
Yeah,
they'll hear it.
Yeah, they hear it. But I think you go to say it and they're already gone before you,
Batman.
like...
Did they just Batman me?
They just Batmaned you. They absolutely Batmaned you.
Well, now I would like to take stock of the area. Are there any ways into this ship? How far inland has this ship come? Is it resting completely in the water? Is it aground?
It is aground. It is half aground and half underwater.
And half submerged.
Yeah. It's like scattered around. But I think, like, you've found it, and that's sort of where you're at. Like, and so you see it, and you see the sunken kind of, like, wandering around it, and, like, their footprints are bloody and sloshing and muddy. And they're like, and you're seeing all of this in front of you. Your hound is visibly upset.
It's okay, Varu. It's okay, boy. Or girl. I haven't decided yet. Hold on. I'll roll for that. That's a boy.
I'm going to tell you to mark 2 wait, what did we say this was? Did we say this was troublesome? Mark 3 progress on your clearing out the corpses.
Okay.
And I probably mark, at this point, I'm going to mark 4 progress off of your wreck, because you found it, you know what you're up against.
Kind of know what I'm looking for in there.
Yeah.
Well, so I am always one to err on the side of caution. I would like to take a perimeter, like a wide berth perimeter, but see if I can see, are there any clear entry points that maybe aren't guarded, maybe higher up off the ground, a hole in the ship. Maybe rigging that has fallen off on the side and could be used to climb atop. Maybe in the back there's, holes in the water.
Yep. Go ahead and roll a secure advantage. This sounds a bit like Shadow to me. Mm-hmm. I would call this either Shadow or Edge, whichever you would prefer.
Either. Die got away from me. Either one is it's the same score, but I like Shadow.
I think Shadow works better
about it.
And so take +1 with that because you have. I'm gonna say take +2 here. 1 for your Slayer background, and 1 because you have a Hound there with you.
Okay,
doing it as well.
My faithful companion. That's a 1 and a 9. That's 2. That's weak hit.
It's a weak hit. On a weak hit, gain 1 momentum, but your advantage is short-lived.
Okay.
Also, take another... Oh, wait, no, that's on a strong hit. You can take another momentum. But for now, you take 1 momentum. So, yeah, you have, determined the lay of this ship. You know kind of where the treasure... Where, boxes and barrels are being held, chests, and sort of the various, conquests. And it's where a lot of the Sodden are kind of congregating around.
Okay, I think that I will not approach that area directly.
Yeah.
I think I will try to find a roundabout way, again, trying to use Shadow to get in without being detected.
Yeah. And,
either, through climbing some rigging to get aboard the top of the ship.
Right.
Maybe there's a hole further up.
Right. This is gonna be...
I would hate to have to go into the water to get in through through underwater. That sounds like a terrible idea, but hey, if everywhere else is guarded, I'll take it.
I'm gonna call this, this is gonna be this is securing an advantage again. This is probably Edge. As you're kind of stalking around, you're looking for an advantage. Mm-hmm. You're looking for a way in. I'm gonna call this Edge. Go ahead and roll me that.
Okay.
And, I'll give you +1 for the Hound. For the Wolf is also there.
That's a strong hit.
Fabulous. Take +1 momentum for your, your Slayer background. You gain advantage. You may make another move now if you like and add +1, or you may take 2 momentum as you, I think what you do is, I think you do eventually have to go into the water. Okay. I think eventually you have to, the only way...
there's no other way.
They are guarding all of the places that are above ground, partially because they've been instructed, and partially because, I think they are avoiding going in the water. But I think when you go underwater, what you see is, Mark 2 progress on Mark 3 progress on clear the corpses, and we'll say 2 more progress on the wreck.
Okay.
Because you have found a really valuable piece of, there is a chunk of the ship, a chunk of the hull, is clogging part of this water. And that is what is causing it to partially submerge. It is also what is causing, and you see, it is slowing the currents of this water, right? Okay. And therefore slowing, the magical flow of Oasis, which is why they are sort of bundling up in that sort of Oasis spot. Mm-hmm. It is lodging all of that, which is partially, you're able to piece together that's partially why, the zombie, the Sodden are,
That's why everything is congregating right here.
Yeah. And, if you can find a way to sort of wedge that out of the way, it might not take care of everything, but, the strength of that river would clear out a lot of that. Mm-hmm. Which is why you are so close to being finished with clearing up the the corpses, because, there's definitely a valve that will send them off into the ocean. And it's just a matter of, if that's a thing you want to further investigate, or if you want to go another way.
The question is, do I alert everyone to my presence by trying to swing that, or do I try to do it later? Do I think that I can do this stealthily enough that I can solve that problem later?
It's the question. That's the question you've got.
No. Look, my vow to myself and my village is the most important. I need to try to recover those things first.
Yep, sure.
If I have the opportunity to, I will unblock this.
Okay.
Because I did say I would.
Sure. But that's your first and foremost. That's your vow. That's your Ironsworn vow.
Yeah, this is the vow that made me.
Okay. So you were able to sort of get into the underside of the ship. That this wedge is here, but you're able to get into the underside of the ship. You are able to sort of duck and weave around some of these sodden corpses. And you find surprisingly above wall, actually it's not surprisingly, you can see that like a part of the boat has been propped up and like held out of the water. Presumably by like order, like there are just giant chunks of wood just holding it in place.
Just propping it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the captain's quarter.
Ooh.
Like it is someone has instructed these Sodden to, put this in place and like hold this here. And so, and it is dry, the door is locked, it is held in place, and it is sort of held aloft, and it sort of like creaks ever so slightly. Like, cause this is sort of this shoddily made supports. Yeah. It's sort of, it's like wavering in place.
It's a little off kilter.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Well, you know what? I made it here stealthily, and I am tempted to try to be stealthy still, but I think really it's time for shock and awe. Mm-hmm. It's time to kick down the door, spear drawn, and face whatever horror, whatever monstrosity is behind that door. And hey, you know what? Maybe there's not one. Maybe I can just get them charts and bugger right off. But, that's not how RPs work.
All right. Yeah, so you kick down the door. You kick down the door, the hound is behind you, and, you are sort of, like, almost struggling a little bit. You're at an incline. You are at an incline. You do not have the high ground.
Yeah, this is uphill, yeah.
Yeah. So don't try to jump over their head. Will not go well. And sure enough, like, sitting, just perfectly still, is, like, half iron armor, iron being very powerful in the world of Ironsworn.
Yeah, a lot of symbolism.
And, like, half withered, threadbare captain's, like, officer's gear.
Okay.
A hat has been awkwardly placed on top of this helmet that is, like, resting.
It's got a helmet and a hat. Like a Barbosa captain's hat?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Exactly, you got it. And it, like, just sort of, like, rattles as it stands to its feet and, like, holds out its hand and a sword flies into it and it, like, starts swinging. And swords are, like, of note.
Yes, this is one of the interesting things that I thought about in the lore of this game that they explain in the book is that swords are not super common.
Yeah.
They are, like, a status symbol.
Yeah.
More than an axe or a spear or a knife.
And, like, it just sort of rattles in front of you, and, like, in the back of your head, you can just hear this, like, voice. You just hear this sort of drum of, take what's yours, hold it, sell it, live the life, treasure your riches, claim what is owed to you, and, like, you just hear this thrum as you just feel the power of this vow, right?
Take what you want and give nothing back.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Sort of,
yeah, and you feel that, like, it's one of those things where the vow itself, because you are face to face with an Iron Revenant. An Iron Revenant is a vow that is held so strongly by an Ironsworn that it has pushed on long past its death. So it is just sort of like, the body...
The vow is animating.
Yeah. And then, like, you kind of see, like, brief glimpses of, like, half-decayed bones. And it's just this armor and this captain's clothing is just, like, animating by sheer virtue of, like, the desired...
How hardcore its vow was. Yeah. And how hard it lifted.
The power of its greed and, like, avarice is keeping this, like, pirate captain alive. Is the commander of this ship, the owner of the perilous bounty that has constructed this pirate crew. And it is now standing before you, like swinging a sword, and like loom.
As pirate ghosts are wont to do.
Yep, all of this is pretty standard pirate ghost.
Standard pirate ghost stuff.
We know that,
but Bolt the Wolf has no awareness that this is perfectly casual pirate ghost behavior.
This is Pirate Ghost 101. So now you are going to enter into a fight. You're going to enter the fray. You're facing off against your foe.
Yes.
So you're going to roll plus heart.
Okay.
Actually, I might actually call this shadow because you are, like, rushing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are rushing and you're catching it by surprise, I'm going to call it shadow.
Okay.
So you're going to roll plus shadow.
All right.
I've laid out the threat of I've got the Iron Revenant from the book. I've got its monsters. I've got its health. And so you're going to roll plus shadow to determine who has initiative.
Oh, that was a 4, right?
Yeah, that was a 4.
Yeah, then that's a weak hit.
That's a weak hit. You may take +2 momentum and give up initiative, or you may take initiative and control the fight from the start.
Oh, I think it'd be best if I... so, do I get the 2 momentum no matter what?
No. Oh. You can take the momentum and give up initiative, or take initiative and not gain that momentum.
I think I will take initiative.
Okay. All right. So tell me what you're doing. If you have initiative, you're going to attack. Tell me what that attack.
So this
looks
pirate
like.
has risen from his seat, and he is threateningly, although basically waving his sword around.
Yep.
I'm going to try to end this before it begins.
Okay.
By pinning him with my spear to the wall behind him.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So give me an iron roll.
That's a weak hit.
It's a weak hit. You inflict your harm, so you inflict 2 harm and lose initiative. You pin him to the wall, and like he kind of just like in that way that like cool skeletons do, like starts
slides forward on the spear.
Forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so
what was that movie Excalibur where he does that at the end? Yeah. Oh man. So
okay. Cool. Give me another iron roll as it kind of like I think it like twirls its sword so that it's got like a downward stabbing motion as it just like lurches towards you and just starts like stabbing
away,
like stabbing down the full length of the spear. Because I imagine you're like right at the end of it, so it's trying to get at you as it like painfully lurches forward.
Oh god! All right, another iron roll. Well, that's a weak hit.
Okay, inflict harm, but pay the price. So it's going to take 2 more harm. And it's going to harm you. Mm-hmm. It is absolutely going to hurt you. It does 4 harm. So it's got you pretty bad.
Yeah. So that's 4 health?
I believe so.
Okay.
Harm on a strong... Okay, so yeah, if your health is 0, suffer momentum... if your health reaches 0, suffer minus momentum equal to remaining health. Equal to the damage remaining.
Okay.
But, so roll health or iron, whichever is higher.
This is after the health has been taken.
Yeah.
Okay, so iron will be higher. Those 9s, man.
You're getting a lot of 9s.
Yeah, but that's a weak hit.
Weak hit, you press on. You do not gain advantage, but you do not gain a clear advantage, and you do not lose additional momentum. You are also not wounded or maimed.
Well, that's good.
You gain initiative. It is your move, as it probably just like stabs you. It's probably, I'm picturing like, let's go Full Metal and just had like stab you in the chest.
Yeah.
Barely dodging your vital organs.
Of course. Just, well, that's, like, I'm quite wounded at the moment. That's, you only have 5 health in this game. Yep. So a hit of 4 is...
And then your momentum as well before you start taking debilities and getting maimed. And...
Yeah, your momentum is sort of a buffer, right?
Yep.
It like lets you, sort of move on. Well, so I'm going to, I think that I will, the vow that I heard echoed in my mind is one of greed and really like, okay. I think I will try to spring back, and from my pouch, from my supply, wherever I keep my things, I would like to take some coinage.
Okay.
I don't know what the sort of coinage wait, there's not really coinage in this world, is there?
No, not really. There's like things and like goods, it's a
barter system. Well, whatever valuables I might have picked up,
you do have silk.
Oh, I do have silk. I don't know. Silk's really. See, I'm trying to think of like, do I have any like gemstones that I like a stone I may have picked up or some value?
I'll let you bump down supply for that.
Yeah, that's I would love to drop a supply to sort of wing a distracting thing that someone super greedy might like. Gold or jewels.
Fabulous.
Or silk.
I will call this slaying because you are using your knowledge against a monster to secure an advantage. So roll me plus shadow. This is a shadow move here.
Okay. I can't burn momentum either. Well, that's a fail.
Okay. Then I'm gonna at that point cause you to lose that supply and say this does not work.
This does not work at all.
It's going to take momentum. Roll iron to avoid being like, as it kind of pulls back its sword and tries to rear back for one big giant beheading.
Oh, I might get beheaded. In fact. Well, that's a weak hit.
Okay. So lose your last point of health.
Okay.
Lose 3 momentum.
Now, could I have burned momentum on that?
Yes, it would have guaranteed you a weak hit.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically before
I'm a little unclear on how the burning momentum
if ever your momentum is higher than one or more of your dice, you can basically say, I'm going to use my momentum and automatically succeed at it.
Oh, to succeed on the die that is lower than your... Okay.
Yeah, so you
I thought it was like an additional bonus to maybe bump you up to a
No, it's that you can basically say, like, I'm going to automatically succeed at that.
Okay.
Let me confirm that's the case.
I think you're right, but...
I believe it's that, like, you may, is an option to build on your success and deliver a decisive result to avoid dire failure. When you have positive momentum, you may cancel any challenge dice that are less than your current momentum value. This gives you an automatic hit. So yeah, it
just cancels out the lower generally.
Yeah. So yeah, if you would roll, it's so that you're never necessarily going to lose something that's
just
lower
by
than,
RNG. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. So roll me plus iron to see how you hold up.
10s. That's a weak hit again.
You hang in there. Boy,
do I.
You've got initiative. I think you throw a gemstone and it I think its arm detaches and the arm
catches it.
and just the gauntlet just catches it with a supernatural quickness and it's just and just laughs in your face.
Well, I'm gonna try to you know what? Screw you, skeleton.
Okay.
I'm not playing with you anymore. I'm gonna try to swing the blunt haft of the spear into its head. I want to knock that hat off its dumb head, and maybe I'll knock its head off too.
Yep, beautiful. Love it. Perfect. Oh, fabulous.
That is a strong hit.
Strong hit. Let's see exactly what happens. Let me pull up my strike move. On a strong hit, inflict +1 harm, so you're going to inflict 3 harm here, and you keep initiative. You do exactly that. Its head goes tumbling, but the helmet, zaps back,
zooms back.
Yeah, and you just see a decaying skull
has fallen out of the
tumble into the water and is almost dissolved. Right, it's so old that it almost just dissolves into dust. Mm-hmm. But it's also probably it can't be that old because it's rated in your lifetime. So it to me that says that it's supernaturally aging.
Yeah,
right?
it's Oh, that's
neat.
That is neat. I like that. I just saw you guys alive, maybe within, the past 2 years.
Yeah, and now you are
a desiccated husk of your former self.
That's cool. I'm into that.
That is cool.
What's your next move?
Well, I feel like I just gotta try to finish it off. Because we're both at the end of our rope here. Mm-hmm. I need to try to...
Its armor is starting to rattle and loosen and fall apart a little bit.
Just gonna try to give the breastplate a smack. Maybe if I can disconnect the central piece from the rest of it, I can stop whatever curse has befallen this foul pirate Yar. That's a double, so something exciting happened. Or is that a double? Or is that a 9? No, that's a double.
Something exciting happens. But you also destroy it.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's something exciting.
Okay, well then I know exactly. So you may temporarily break apart your form, but you cannot kill this thing.
Oh.
Like an Iron Revenant cannot stop until their vow is consumed, which when your vow is take, it's going to...
Yeah, it doesn't really
end. You phase it. And I think you realize that because you still hear that's the thing, that's the exciting thing, is you hear it. And you realize you can't stop this thing by just stabbing it.
As you see the bits of iron shaking and sort of crawling together.
You realize that you can't stop this thing by just fighting it. You have to take a more drastic approach.
I know the more drastic approach I will attempt to take later. Right now, I need to find charts and logs and books and anything that could possess a hint of where my beloved idol has gone.
Of course. To do that, I'm going to pull up my adventure moves. This is, I think, facing danger. I think this is facing danger with edge because you're moving quickly because, I think, you hear this, scream and you hear,
Yeah, I know that I am not safe. I am trying to rapidly gather intel.
Give me a roll plus edge.
Alrighty. That's a weak hit.
It's a weak hit. You may you may lose advantage and suffer momentum. You can get hurt, you can be dispirited and afraid, or you can sacrifice the last of your supplies.
I don't want to sacrifice the last of my supplies. I will take the momentum hit.
Okay. Take that. So lose 1 momentum. And I think that, I think you hear a scream and, like, that vow changes a little bit from, like, take to, like, stop to, like, kill those who would take. Like, defend what's mine.
Yours.
Yeah. Defend what I've rightfully earned.
What I've rightfully stolen. It's the pirate's way.
And you know, if you're hearing this, that probably means every one of those sodden corpses is hearing it as well. But you do find, like, waterproof, like, leather cases that have been, like, beaten by the water, but, like, they're being held above the water, and it's why this captain's chamber, it's part of why this captain's chamber is held where it is.
Yeah, okay.
And so you find these ledgers, and you're not going to have time to study them, but you at least find
just grab anything I can.
Books and maps and map rolls and things.
Yeah, chart tubes. Probably a sextant got in there just for fun.
Yep, sure. And so, that's, you've got the stuff that you came for. Mark 2 more progress on, the wreck of the
Perilous Bounty. The Golden Lady.
The Golden Lady. Gimme, so what's your next move?
I'm gonna take the helmet.
Yep,
I'm taking it. And we're going.
Alright.
Helmet, you're coming with me.
Okay. I'm going to ask you for a face danger here.
Okay.
As you do this. And I'm going to specifically say it is plus, this is probably plus, either heart or wits.
Yeah, I would say heart.
I think heart, yeah.
Right?
Because I think you're hearing the scream of this thing. Like, as you take it, like, the scream is following you.
Yeah. This is doable. This is doable. But it's a weak hit.
Okay, I was gonna say, you can get a weak... Yeah, so, what do you want? Harm, stress, momentum, or supplies?
Oh, stress. This is a stress one. This is clearly stress.
This is definitely stress. Okay. Here we go. Let's go to endure stress.
Which is, like, there are so many neat, debilitating systems in this game for, like, are you maimed, wounded?
Yep.
Like, you become unprepared, shaken.
So take 4. This is 4. This is another 4 harm. No, this is just going to be 1. This is going to be, we'll call it 2 harm because you've beaten this thing, so it's taking half of its normal damage. Mm-hmm. So that's 2 harm to your spirit, and then roll heart or spirit, whichever is higher. So that will be your spirit.
Yeah. That's a strong
hit. Your spirit is greater than 0. You may suffer -1 momentum for +1 spirit, or you may embrace the darkness and take +1 momentum.
I don't want to embrace the darkness, do I? Because it seems like there's no downside to that. There's no way that'll come back to bite me in the butt later. No, I'll take the, what is it, a momentum and spirit hit?
Lose 1 momentum for +1 spirit.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that if those are my 2 options.
Yeah, so I think what embracing the darkness means here is that you will just become greedier and crueler and more willing to take.
It bonds.
Yeah, that that voice in your head becomes your own voice.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah, so I think that you take the helmet and...
But that's cool.
And you still hear that voice sometimes, but it's just like whispers on the wind.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So yeah, you've powered through. You've got the helmet. The ship is. You hear the sloshing of sodden footprints approaching towards you. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
I am going to. Is there a way up?
Yeah, you can probably climb along climb along walls and rafters and things.
Yeah, to get up above deck.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely a stairwell up there.
Because I feel like that's a great escape way. Yep. And then you just dive into the water.
Yep.
And I'm sure nothing will possibly go wrong.
No, absolutely not. Give me a face danger with edge.
Nothing can possibly go wrong. That's a weak hit.
It's a weak hit.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think you jump into the water, and I'm going to have you mark, I'm going to not have you mark any progress on anything, because I think you hear clunk, you hear splash, 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 as the Sodden are, like, jumping after. And you hear them screaming when they make contact with the water, as they are, like, confronted by, like, this energy that is, like, forcing them to still be alive. But, like, you still hear them in pursuit. You hear their screams.
Okay. I'm trying to skedaddle right now. I'm gonna go back, take care of my camping, my business. I will come back later to either. I mean, ideally, this is me personally as a player. I love burning things down.
Right, sure.
Like, I feel like so many problems are solved by just burning it down.
Yeah, right.
Because I would want to burn down the boat.
Yeah.
And, which would, simultaneously solve some of maybe the evil around and clear the blockage of the river. Yeah, I will, but I don't want to do that right now because I'm being pursued by the Sodden.
Give me another edge.
Time to escape. Time to escape.
You
Strong hit.
Yeah. So I think their screams like kind of hold them in place, right? Like they can't go too far because they've been ordered to guard the ship. Mm-hmm. So when it seems like you're fleeing,
and I've got the helmet.
Yeah, it seems like when you're fleeing, like you take time to like it basically keeps you alive. Like once you get to a certain point, they're like, well, they fled. It's fine. We're all good.
They're gone now.
We're good. We did it.
Treasure's safe.
We did it, everybody. So now I assume you're going to want. Yeah, when you get back to Oasis, I'm going to ask you to heal. Roll wits or iron, whichever is lower. So you're going to roll your wits. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you +1 because you're at Oasis and they are willing to help you here.
Okay. Boy.
So that's a +2.
Fail. Right? Okay. That's a fail.
I'm going to burn the last of your supplies to allow you to heal.
Okay.
Or I'm going to burn the last of your supplies. Like you were unable to like patch up your wounds, and Oasis is clearly like you have not. Why would I help you? Why would I
do the thing I asked you to do?
You do the thing I asked, and I will heal all of your wounds and then some. Like I will replenish you when you accomplish your task. And so for now, you and the Hound are just like beating down,
licking our wounds.
Yep.
But at least we're back at a safe place.
Yep. So now I'm also going to ask you to make camp, and you're going to roll plus supply. That's
a fail. That's a fail.
All right. Yeah. Then lose a momentum. Put that back down to +2.
It's been at +2.
All right, you're fine.
Go straight to reset.
Yep. Go straight to reset, and now you have to confront the final stages of your immediate situation in this vow that you've taken on.
Well, I'm out of supplies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do about that. I guess I can do the same. Look, I don't have what it would take to set the ship ablaze anymore. I can't. That's no longer an option. The flint fell out of my bag when they were chasing me.
Yep.
So, but I still got my iron, baby. I still got my muscles. I'm gonna be sneaky.
Yep.
But I'm gonna push that wreckage out of the way. The sort of clogging piece of the ship, the bulk of the ship that was.
Give me face danger with iron. I'm gonna give you +1 as I think the Hound is helping here. If only to keep them like away.
Nope, that's a fail.
Okay. I think what happens is you're gonna pay the price, and I'm going to, and it's a change. So I think I know what happens here. I'm gonna ask you to clear progress on both the wreck and the clear progress. Like you accomplished both of them. You mark your
clear
progress.
It all. Okay.
Yeah, you've marked all of your progress. But what happens is, I think the note that the cliffhanger that we end on is you are unable to get away before you are also washed out. And
yeah, now that I've unblocked the river along with these sodden, I am swept away.
Swept away. You wash up on an island. You have these you have the notes.
Things you need,
you charts. Have the notes. You have the next phase of your thing.
But I'm inches from death, and supply is out. I got nothing. Nothing left.
So what we're going to do now is you're going to finish out. You're going to fulfill 2 vows. We're going to call that an 8 and an 8 and a 9 rather.
Okay.
Because when we finished the vows, you had marked an 8, you had an 8 here and a 9 here. Because I'm giving you one more round of progress.
I got you.
And now we're going to do the fulfill vow move. So you're going to roll your challenge dice. And you're going to compare that to. You're going to compare the. We'll start with your 8. You're going to compare that number to the challenge dice that you rolled. So basically, this is the dice that you rolled.
Yep, that's a failure.
That's a weak. The first one's a weak hit.
Oh, is the first one?
Oh yeah,
9?
no, you're right.
The first one is a
8,
failure.
So that's a miss.
Yeah,
your quest is undone.
Oh,
your quest is undone. You may recommit, clear all but 1 filled progress, and raise the quest's rank by 1, or you may give it up and forsake the vow. So do you abandon trying to bury the perilous bounty, or do you acknowledge that
I acknowledge that I have failed, but it is something that must be done.
Okay, so then you're going to recommit to that. So it will I
love the idea of that being that you got the charts and stuff. They're wrong. They don't tell you anything.
Well, it's not. I don't even think it's that they're wrong. I think that you know that they traded it away, but also you know that, like, the longer these, like, Sodden and this Iron Revenant live, the more powerful they get. Mm-hmm. So you will have to one day come back to this.
Oh, I like that.
You will have to one day come back to this. So it is currently marked as a dangerous. So you're going to suffer 2 more spirit loss as not this is the end, so it's not only
but no, this is
you're going to suffer 2 more spirit loss. You would go through you would make an endure stress move. Mm-hmm. For the other one, give me another roll for your clearing out the corpses.
Okay, and this is the 9,
yes.
I suppose. Well, that's a weak.
That's a weak hit.
Boy, these die you gave me keep rolling 9s. I don't care for it.
They're hot dice today. There is more to be done, or you realize the truth of your quest. You may mark experience, and you may optionally do what is right. I think this all ties together into a very nice closing note, because I think that you've realized you can't fully clear the corpses. You've realized you will have to one day, like, deal with this on a level that you are not fully prepared to now.
Yeah.
But you also have this thing. You also have the stuff you're looking for so that you can go get your idol back, but you will have to one day come back to
fulfill my vow.
Yeah. To fully fulfill your vow, this, it's going to require, like, taking this down.
Oh, I like that.
I'm into that.
Maybe I'll come back when I've got some more Ironborn friends. Maybe the wolf pack will help. You know, come back with help.
Yep. And that's the closing note. Like that, and that is where we leave our hero for now.
It's washed up with the tools he needs, but very little else.
And a realization that, like, the stakes are much higher than you thought.
This is a cool game.
I'm super into this game. I'm into this game a lot. The moves are fun, and the monsters. This is neat. I'm into this.
And it lets you stretch your sort of storytelling legs. And I mean, you always do this though, Jeff, where you are, work with the people you're playing with to sort of build a story. Yeah, you don't just run roughshod over anybody. I always like that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was super, super good. Dang it.
This was fun. This is a fun game.
It is. I'm a very big fan of this game.
Like, I would love to do a larger campaign with this.
I would love to play through. Yeah, I would love to do the same.
Because, like, we sort of started halfway through. We're saying, you're halfway on your journey, you've got these bonds, and, like, with the spider people, it would be really cool
to, like, literally start from, like, point blank and be like,
here's where you are, and, like, here are you building your bonds, and you can call on them later. I really liked how I was able to call on the help of the spider people.
That was cool.
Like, it's a nice callback.
It was cool. It was neat. The game, like, the moves really, like, push the action forward while also allowing a certain level of, like, they encourage a certain level of rolling that, like, I feel like the games sometimes games of this nature are like, you don't have to make these rolls, and this is like, but this is
you've got to make these rolls to move the story along,
but it does it in a way that still advances the story in a meaningful way.
It lets you tell a story. Well, like, you got to the fell down the waterfall. Something exciting happened because of the doubles, and it's like, oh well, there's a water elemental whose house this is. Like, it sort of naturally leads itself forward. It's just very cool. Very cool.
Ramon, thank you so much for coming on Party of One. This was awesome.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff.
This was super
always
cool.
A pleasure.
So real quick, where can people find you and your work online?
You can't.
Okay, fair.
You can't. I don't trust the government.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, thank you for coming on the show. This was a delight. So,
thanks for having me. I would love to do this again sometime.
I would absolutely love the same. But for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that you can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Ramon for coming on to the show. That game was a delight. Be sure to head to facebook.com/HighNoteHumor for more information about High Note. It's a fun open mic with a lot of friends of the show, including Noah Houlihan, Vegas Lancaster, and Chris Hale, all regularly performing, as well as Ramon. And I think you should check it out. I think it's a good time. I enjoy it a lot on the few times that I make it out there. Also, be sure to head to ironswornrpg.com for more information about Ironsworn, because I think it's a really neat game that I think does some interesting things that I think, like, if you're a fan of sort of traditional fantasy role-playing games, I think it's a really interesting game that's worth checking out. Also, be sure to follow the show on Twitter at twitter.com/partyofonepod. Like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. Join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. Slam your finger really hard on your desk. Listen to my cat be adorable. And go to patreon.com/JeffStormer to support all of the work that I do in podcasting and game design and community support. All of that kind of cool stuff. You can also show your support by giving us a nice review on iTunes, telling a friend about the show, giving us a shout out on social media. Any of those things help new listeners find the show, which helps us do bigger, better, and cooler things. Speaking of podcasts that I think you'll really enjoy, have you checked out All My Fantasy Children? Because it's great, and if you haven't, why haven't you done that yet? All My Fantasy Children is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast on the One Shot Network, powered by you. Every week, my best friend Aaron Catano-Saez and I take a listener-submitted prompt, we spin it into an original fantasy character, using some of our favorite tabletop role-playing games, and we populate a shared universe along the way, one story at a time. New episodes drop every Friday at allmyfantasychildren.com. Party of One is produced and edited, as always, by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates or about coming on to the show, you can reach me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And that's it for me. Until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.